Welcome to NarrativeNook where enchanted stories come to life. If you enjoy our stories, please subscribe, like and share to support our channel. Enjoy listening. She hadn't expected the servant to be so clever, but with school starting, it would be a long time before. Oh right, Mr. Cooper stopped by looking for you, but no one told him you were confined to the annex. Betty said as she placed a jar of ointment on the table. He saw you had scratches on your face and brought this. He said it'll heal without leaving scars. There are other ointments too, for pain relief and to help wounds heal faster. He marked the instructions on them. Serena, Mr. Cooper sure is good to you. Serena looked at the array of medicine boxes, each with a post-it note in Martin's handwriting. She hadn't expected that being locked away here, the only one who seemed to care about her injuries would be a stranger. Did Mom and Dad know he sent me ointments? Serena inquired. Yes, I pleaded with the lady, told her about Mr. Cooper's kind gesture. Even if she is upset with you, she couldn't take it out on Mr. Cooper. After all, we'll have to keep up appearances with the Cooper family. Anyway, I begged for a while, and she walked away without a word, neither a yes nor a no. So I just mustered up the courage and brought the ointments. Betty glanced at the time and added, Serena, I really must go now, I'm out of time. With a nod, Betty hurriedly picked up her meal box and scurried out, fearing she would stay past the allotted time. The vast house once again grew silent. Elsewhere, Arabella had just gotten home when someone called out to her. Bella, you're back. Louisa rose from the sofa, spotting Arabella with a stack of papers, and couldn't help but express her concern. Still busy this late? What time is it? Have you had dinner? Kenneth glanced at the clock. It was nearly 10 at night. If not, I can whip up some noodles for you in the kitchen. I've eaten already. Arabella slipped off her shoes and stepped inside, puzzled to see her parents waiting up for her. Dad, Mom, why aren't you asleep? Ah. Louisa guided her to the couch before explaining, we just found out tonight from Edith about all the hardships you've been enduring in this house. That Debbie and Daisy had the nerve to disrespect you. It's outrageous, Kenneth added, taking a seat beside Arabella. Edith mentioned just a fraction of it. There's no telling how much you've had to endure from those people when we're not around. These servants have no sense of their place. Especially that Martha. Taking the master's money and acting like she owns the place. We've had someone give them a good thrashing and blacklisted them in the industry. They won't find work anywhere now. People like that can't be left to cause harm to others. Arabella hadn't expected her parents to secretly avenge her. She smiled and said, Thanks Dad, Mom. It's okay, it's all in the past. After all, the incident with Debbie and Daisy was a long time ago. You never tell us anything. Louisa suddenly embraced Arabella, her voice becoming hoarse with emotion. It's all my fault for being too trusting of them, not keeping a closer eye on them. I'm sorry you had to suffer alone. I'm to blame as well, Kenneth confessed. I've gotten used to leaving the household matters to the servants. They're so polite and respectful, calling me sir every day. I never suspected their two-faced behavior behind our backs. With over 20 servants in the Collins household, each with their own specific duties, they had never heard of anyone pulling such outrageous stunts before. It was a real eye-opener for them. I've already had Serena move to the condo next door to reflect on her actions. After the holidays, we'll ask her to leave our home for good. Louisa's words caught Arabella off guard. Was Mom really ready to kick Serena out? 18 years ago, we mistakenly brought home the wrong child, raising her as our own daughter. To say we felt no affection would be a lie, but after hearing about her antics, we are truly disheartened. Louisa patted Arabella on the back. In about a week or so, when everyone's gathered, your true identity will be revealed, and everyone will know that you are our real daughter. As for Serena, she never appreciated what she had, so there's no point in her staying. Absolutely, let her leave, Kenneth agreed, feeling the same. Do you really want to let her go? Arabella asked. Louisa smiled and explained, it's been 18 years, so to say we can let go completely would be deceiving you. But the way she struts around you, acting all high and mighty, that's something we can't stand. You are our real daughter, and she has no clue. To think, after 18 years, it turns out we've been nurturing an ingrate. If Serena could find her place and be grateful, there would be room for her in this family. But her jealousy blinded her. Our original plan was to take you on a trip, but we're not sure if you'll have time over the holidays. Kenneth longed for some quality time with his daughter, but ever since she returned home, she was either at school, managing her own ventures, or out on dates with Romeo. The time left for them was scarce. Aside from sending messages to check on her, welcoming her home, cooking her favorite meals, giving her massages, providing spending money, and customizing clothes and accessories for her, they really didn't know what else they could do for their daughter. "Bella, if there's anything we're not doing right, you must tell us," Kenneth said, looking at his daughter with hope. "We want to improve and make you feel the warmth of this home." "You're already doing so much," Arabella reassured them. "I should have some time in about 10 days to go out with you. As for Serena, you make the call. I've got some work to finish up, so I'll head upstairs." Arabella patted Louisa's back and released the hug. "You guys should get some sleep." She needed to finish up the paperwork tonight so she could make it to David's concert tomorrow. "Bella, can you handle all that work alone? What kind of documents are they? I can help you out. I've been running the company for years and have some experience." Kenneth offered, raising his voice as he watched his daughter ascend the stairs. "I can handle reports, no problem." "I can help too. What work haven't you finished? Let me help you." "No need, you two should rest." Arabella went upstairs, turned on the desk lamp, and her phone suddenly buzzed. "Headed to bed." It was Romeo. "Almost," Arabella replied and then added, "Mom and Dad moved Serena to the condo next door." Did they finally catch on to her little schemes? "Congratulations, you'll finally be free of her drama." "Do I detect a hint of pleasure in your text?" Arabella noticed he seemed a bit too happy about it. "If she were to be kicked out entirely, I'd be even happier. I'd have to buy a bunch of firecrackers and set them off at your doorstep to celebrate." Arabella couldn't help but laugh. "Just don't blow up my house." "As if I could. If anything, I'd only want to blow her away." "The concert is at 7 tomorrow night. Can you pick me up at 6:30? "All right," Romeo queried, "you hitting the sack yet?" "Just wrapping up some stuff." Without missing a beat, Romeo shot her a video call. Arabella was taken aback but tapped accept. "I'll keep you company." He kept the video running, watching her work in silence, not wanting to break her concentration. Arabella propped her phone against a tissue box, flipping through her files, scanning each page meticulously. Romeo admired her from the other side of the screen, her eyelashes fluttering lightly with focus, her well-defined nose, clear eyes, and striking features. She was breathtaking, to say the least. "Live streaming's all the rage lately. My crew's thinking of getting some big-name streamers to help push this season's line, says it'll move faster than the usual." No sooner had Arabella finished speaking than Romeo chimed in. "True that. Last time Macmillan Corporation had a bunch of overstocked watches, pricey and outdated. Couldn't move them in stores, but the streamers sold them out." "Are they asking for a salary of $100,000 per hour plus a 10% commission?" "Depends on the streamer. Duration, product type, even the size of the partnering firm, all factor into their rates. I'll have Carl shoot their rate card over to you, so you've got a ballpark for your first hire. Is it all right for me to see your internal stuff?" "Of course." Romeo quickly pinged Carl. In no time, Carl emailed Arabella the streamer's rate card and even shared some haggling tips. A little while later, Louisa knocked on the door. "Bella, you asleep? Mom sent over some snacks." "Just come in." Arabella's gaze didn't stray from her documents for even a second. "I made you some soup, Romeo." Louisa's eyes widened at the sight of the handsome face on her daughter's phone. Were they video chatting? Had she interrupted something? "Mrs. Collins, still up this late?" Romeo's voice was warm and polite. "And you brought Bella some food. That's really kind of you." Louisa was momentarily flustered. "Ah yes, I thought Bella might need a break from work. Are you keeping her company remotely?" "That's right." "Sweet boy, I appreciate that. Well, you two carry on. I'll leave you to it." Heartened to see her daughter wasn't alone, even in work, Louisa quickly exited. "Eat it while it's hot, don't let it get cold," Romeo urged. "Let it sit for a bit." Arabella reviewed the financial report one more time, spotting a decimal error made by her team, a close call but caught just in time. After she worked for a while longer and downed the soup in one go, Romeo watched as her focus returned to her tasks. "Ever been told you're a workaholic?" "Isn't workaholic your exclusive title, Mr. Romeo?" Arabella jotted down notes with her pen, her tone playful. "Guess we're the workaholic couple then. Our poor employees." Arabella couldn't help but laugh. "Get outta here." "Yes, my dear wife." Romeo quieted down again. It wasn't until the clock hit 2:50 a.m. that Arabella finished up her work, took a shower, and finally crawled into bed for some well-deserved rest. The next morning, David bombarded his sister with messages. "Hey Bella, you're coming to my concert tonight, right? Whether Romeo can make it or not doesn't matter, but I need you there. It's your first time at one of my gigs. No need to queue, I'll have my assistant add you on WhatsApp and she'll sneak you in through the side door. Any songs you're dying to hear tonight? I'll belt out any tune for you. Plus, we've got some special guests joining me on stage. I bet some of them are your idols. Want their autographs? I'll make sure they sign everything for you in person. 7 o'clock sharp, you'll be there, won't you?" At the end of his messages, David included a puppy-eyed emoji full of anticipation. Arabella didn't finish work until after 2 and didn't hit the sack until after 3, only to be woken up by David's texts just after 6. "David, you're up early." She typed back groggily. "What choice do I have, you workaholic? Hans said you'd rather slave away at the office than come to my show. I've been worried sick all night, and only dared to message you once the sun was up. Why are you up so early too? I hope I didn't wake you." Arabella could only reply, "Romeo and I will come tonight." "For real?" David was over the moon, immediately sending a screenshot to Hans before telling Arabella, "Then how about dinner backstage with me? What's your craving? I'll have it delivered right to us." He couldn't risk going out to eat before the show, fans would swarm him in seconds. "We'll eat with Romeo. Remember Lizzie? Take a deep breath before you see her." Now David was hit hard by the rejection, but still replied, "All right, see you tonight then. Don't forget, it starts at 7. Got it." After she finished texting, Arabella was wide awake. She handled some work on her phone, took some files to the office, and started a meeting. But before it was over, she noticed several young department heads constantly glancing at their watches. "What's up?" Arabella's gaze settled on them, their minds clearly elsewhere as they kept checking the time. "Miss Bennett." The deputy finance director gave a sheepish smile. "David's got a concert in Summerfield tonight. I managed to score tickets after a fierce battle. Can I duck out early this afternoon?" The other department heads looked on with hopeful eyes, clearly already at the concert in their minds. It was Arabella's first realization of David's allure. She asked evenly, "Isn't the concert at 7 this evening?" It was only 10 in the morning and they were already distracted. "Miss Bennett, I didn't know you kept tabs on this stuff. Are you a fan too?" "Fan?" "Yeah, fan." Arabella was speechless. "I'm a fan too, but I only managed to get lawn tickets," another female employee lamented. "Be glad you got a ticket at all. I had to buy mine from a scalper, $1,800 a pop." Arabella was amazed. "So, are we meeting at 4 at the supermarket across from the stadium?" Yeah, I've even brought my suitcase with banners, glow sticks, and all. We'll put up the banners together and chant in unison." Arabella had no idea there was so much involved in attending a concert. "Miss Bennett, please let us go early this afternoon. It's a once-in-a-lifetime event." They all pleaded with Arabella. Some of the seasoned board members just couldn't stand it anymore. "My daughter is head over heels for that David. She ditched her piano lesson this afternoon just to fangirl over him. My son adores him too, says he's cool and responsible, wants to shine bright like him when he grows up. My mom's in her 70s, and she had me scrambling for concert tickets, saying that David is such a sweet-looking boy, and calls herself a granny fan. Arabella hadn't realized David's fan base was so wide-ranging. "Alright, we can knock off early today." Seeing their minds weren't on work at all, Arabella simply said, "Meeting adjourned." No sooner had she dismissed the meeting than some of them huddled together, buzzing about the concert. Later that afternoon, Arabella hopped into Romeo's car, planning to grab an early dinner before heading backstage to meet David. But as soon as they approached the crossroads near the stadium, they hit a traffic jam. The stadium steps were packed with fans who had arrived early, 3 hours before the concert, and the roads were clogged, with an army of traffic cops trying to maintain order. Every billboard around the stadium had been rented out by fans, plastered with David's pictures. Some had even wrapped entire buses with his photos. Arabella hadn't anticipated David's popularity, nor that every nearby restaurant would be filled to the brim with his fans. "We'll find somewhere to park," said Romeo, equally surprised by David's drawing power. Traffic officers were ahead, directing the flow. Just waiting for the lights to turn, Arabella sat in the car for a harrowing 30 minutes. It was insane. Fans were even handing out shopping bags with David's charitable acts printed on them to passers-by. Finally, when traffic inched forward, Romeo steered into a nearby parking lot, which was full. They ended up parking at the closest subsidiary of Macmillan Corporation. "Didn't think we'd end up back at the company for a staff lunch," Romeo quipped as he opened the car door for Arabella. Arabella chuckled, "But it's close to the stadium. After we eat, let's just walk over." "No way we're driving." Otherwise, they would be gridlocked forever. This subsidiary wasn't a frequent stop for Romeo. As he and Arabella stepped out of the elevator on the ground floor, the manager Mr. Quinnell spotted them. "Mr. Macmillan, are you here for an inspection? And this is..." Mr. Quinnell hurried over to shake hands with Romeo and nodded towards Arabella. "My fiancée, Arabella. We're here to try the staff meal." Mr. Quinnell was taken aback. The staff meal? Oh no, he hadn't received any notice that Mr. Macmillan was coming to check on the cafeteria standards. Running low on food? Romeo sensed his discomfort. No, it's not that. I'm just worried you and Ms. Arabella might not be used to our simple fare. It's all home-style dishes, Mr. Quinnell hastily explained. Please follow me." As Arabella followed Romeo into the cafeteria, Mr. Quinnell immediately clapped his hands, raising his voice, "Hold up everyone. Let's give a warm round of applause to welcome Mr. Macmillan and Ms. Arabella." Everyone turned to look at Romeo, their expressions flickering with surprise. They had been part of this subsidiary for quite some time but had never met the big boss in person. To top it off, the man rumored to be indifferent to women was holding hands with a lady, and they seemed quite the item. "Good evening, Mr. Macmillan, Ms. Bella." Many employees stood up to greet them. Arabella nodded in acknowledgement, and Romeo spoke up. "The holidays are coming up, and I know you've all been working overtime lately. I appreciate your hard work." "Not at all," they chorused in reply, while internally they were all abuzz. Was the big boss always this personable? Rumors had painted him as a cold, emotionless workaholic. Yet here he was, defying expectations. "Please, make yourselves comfortable." Romeo gestured for everyone to sit. Mr. Quinnell respectfully said, "Mr. Macmillan, Ms. Bella, here is tonight's menu." "Looks good," Arabella said after scanning the menu. Though not as luxurious as the headquarters, the place was clean and bright. "Thank you for the compliment, Ms. Bella." Mr. Quinnell had been worried the ordinary dishes wouldn't impress them, but a nod from Ms. Bella eased his concerns. "Go ahead with your work," Romeo said. Taking the cue, Mr. Quinnell bowed. "Then I'll be taking off, Mr. Macmillan. Need to pick up some groceries to cook dinner for my wife and kids." Romeo, impressed by his family dedication, said, "Finance will award you an extra month's bonus. Treat your family to something special." Mr. Quinnell's eyes widened in shock at the unexpected gift, taking a moment to register before exclaiming, "Thank you, Mr. Macmillan. I wish you and Ms. Bella a lifetime of happiness. Enjoy your meal." With that, he bowed out. Arabella chuckled. "You really startled him. He thought you were here for an inspection. He was too nervous to even breathe." Romeo's eyes twinkled with a soft laugh. This subsidiary has been doing well. Carl reported to me last month. The staff is motivated, and the cafeteria meets our hygiene standards. Every dish is freshly prepared, no pre-cooked meals, which is why I brought you here. What would you like to eat? Anything's fine. Arabella wasn't fussy. Do we serve ourselves steak here? Let me do it. It's okay. Arabella grabbed them some steaks. Just set them here. Romeo placed the rice on the trays, gesturing for Arabella to hold onto his sleeve while he carried their meals to an empty table. Many employees watched, intrigued at the sight of the group's boss being so down-to-earth, without a trace of pretension. Arabella tasted the dish, pretty good. The chefs in the cafeteria were impressively skilled, much to her surprise. Let me try. Romeo sampled a bite. Not bad. Right. Try a few more of these, Romeo said, offering her a selection from their shared dishes. Arabella had barely taken a couple of bites of her salad when her phone began to buzz. It was a video call from her brother, David. Thankfully, the surrounding tables at the small cafe were empty, allowing her to answer with ease. Bella? Are you grabbing a bite? Let me get a peek at what you're munching on. With a flick of her wrist, Arabella turned the camera to showcase her meal, and David's feathers got ruffled instantly. Romeo, what the heck are you feeding my baby sister? If I'd known you were so tight-fisted, I would have had her tag along with me for a proper meal. I mean, look at you, pinching pennies. My poor sis. It's a staff meal, Romeo corrected, a hint of defense in his voice. Oh wow, treating my sister to a staff meal. How generous of you, David retorted with heavy sarcasm. Arabella chuckled. David, it's just that your fanbase is too overwhelming. Every diner in town was packed, and after searching forever, we finally had to settle for a quick bite at one of his subsidiaries' cafeterias. Praising me, are you? Arabella was puzzled. You say I have lots of fans, isn't that just another way of saying I'm got charm? She was speechless. If I had known earlier, I would have invited you guys to join me backstage. Eating alone is such a drag. Just eat up, bro. Performing is a workout, and Romeo and I will come to find you once we're done here. Really? David perked up instantly. I'm not bragging, but I can demolish all this food in 5 minutes flat. Don't choke on your ambition, Arabella teased before ending the call. Back in the day, David was such a wild card. Never seen him so concerned about anyone, Romeo remarked as he offered Arabella more from the platter. But before she could respond, his phone rang. Boss, got a moment for a call? There's something I need to report. Go ahead. As Arabella listened to him, the cafe's background music seemed to drown out his voice, prompting her to stand up and tell Romeo, I'll step outside to take this call. Sure, take your time. Left alone, Romeo could hear the strains of Work Hard, Play Hard coming from the cafe speakers. No doubt, it was a staff member's attempt to curry favor with him. The cafe was buzzing with employees who had heard that the big boss was making an impromptu visit. Some had just left work only to rush back in hopes of catching a glimpse of the notoriously ruthless CEO. Lena, a little-known employee, dreamed of marrying the handsome CEO. She had clocked out when she noticed a flurry of staff heading back inside. Upon inquiring, she discovered that the CEO, Romeo, was dining in their cafe. She had been hooked on a novel she read on a smartphone app called Messing with the Boss, which featured a scene where a nondescript female staff caught the CEO's attention in the company cafe, leading to a fairy-tale romance with the dashing CEO. With her heart racing, Lena slipped through the crowd and, pretending to be composed, grabbed a tray of food, then sat at a table next to Romeo's. She began to eat as if it were the most natural thing in the world, despite the palpable tension around her. Many were gobsmacked by her move. Holy smokes, she must be new, right? To actually sit next to Romeo. Didn't everyone know Romeo hates being disturbed at lunchtime? Though they weren't dining at the same table, her seat was just to the left of Romeo, barely half a yard away. Romeo didn't like people getting close. Especially women with nervous dining habits, he could tell right away what she was after. Lena felt Romeo's gaze and thought she had caught the attention of the formidable CEO. She ducked her head, pretending to spill soup on her blouse, then turned and asked politely, "Excuse me, do you happen to have a napkin? I've accidentally stained my clothes. Romeo's eyes fell on her, seeing right through her little ruse. Are you new here? I haven't seen you around before. Hi, I'm Lena from the admin department. Which department are you in? Lena, is it? That's when Arabella returned, taking her seat on Romeo's right. His tone softened a bit. Finished your call? Yeah. Arabella glanced at Lena. Didn't your admin manager give you a handbook on your first day? The group structure, the company's main business, the heads of each department. Weren't they all in the booklet? Sounds like the admin manager dropped the ball. Lena was flustered by the sudden appearance of this commanding woman. May I ask who you are? My wife, Romeo introduced. Lena's face was beyond shocked. When did Romeo get hitched? She was doomed. How could she not have known Mr. Macmillan was already taken? Focus on your work in the future, stop daydreaming. Hearing Arabella's words, Lena replied ashamedly, Yes, Mrs. Macmillan. She stood up, ready to carry her tray away, when Arabella inquired, Not eating? It's a bit warm here, I'll eat over there. Lena hadn't expected the boss's wife to have such a strong presence and quickly scurried away with her tray. Arabella caught Romeo looking at her with a half-smile, unimpressed. What are you looking at? Eat your food. Romeo, unable to hold back a chuckle, continued to serve her, watching my wife nip my admirers in the bud. You seem to find it amusing? Did you scare her off knowing I was going to fire her, just to save her job? Romeo knew his young wife's intentions all too well. She's young. It's normal to have fantasies. You say that as if, Romeo teased, gently flicking her nose, you're not young yourself? A good employee is worth keeping. And how do you know she's a good employee? Isn't that what you said? That this subsidiary is doing quite well, and the staff are enthusiastic. Romeo looked at her with indulgent affection, surprised she remembered his words. The staff were stunned by this scene, not expecting the private side of Romeo to be like this. As Arabella topped his plate with a slice of apple, she heard someone cheekily chime in, If only you could pass me some chicken, it'd be even better. After a meal filled with laughter and casual banter, Romeo finally took her hand and they made their exit. The employees couldn't help but gossip once the pair were out of earshot. Goodness, our company's CEO is that young? He looks like he's barely in his 20s. So handsome. He's even more dashing than in the corporate brochure. And that girl with him is so pretty. Does anyone know who she is? Aren't the Macmillans and the Collins slated for a merger through marriage? Wasn't Romeo supposed to marry Serena? She definitely isn't Serena. What's the story here? Who knows? Mr. Macmillan's personal life is none of our business. As Romeo and Arabella walked past the receptionists, they couldn't resist stealing glances at the couple, whispering excitedly among themselves, Gosh, Mr. Macmillan is so dashing. That girl is stunning. They look so good together. Arabella's beauty was undeniable and had always scored high marks. I always wondered who could possibly match Mr. Macmillan in looks, and today we've got our answer. They've kept their relationship so secretive, there's not a peep online. Should we post their picture online? People would love to see them together. Do you think you're the only one with that idea? There's a reason nobody dares to post anything. No news online. There's a reason for that. Yeah, better not to lose our jobs over something trivial. On their way to the concert, Romeo and Arabella's striking looks drew countless admiring glances. Many onlookers whipped out their phones, trying to sneak photos of them. I brought masks, one for each of us, Arabella said softly, wishing to avoid attention. Heeding her words, Romeo first helped her put on a mask and then donned one himself. Even with just their eyes showing, they were attractive. Still, some people couldn't resist taking pictures. Arabella felt a bit helpless. Some even speculated if they were celebrities in disguise, sneaking in to support David at his concert. Before 7 in the evening, the arena was already packed tight. Romeo held Arabella close, shielding her from the pressing crowd, worried she might get hurt. Up close, Arabella could see the concern and care etched on Romeo's face, his scent fresh and enticing. As the throng of people intensified, Romeo parted the crowd with his hands and murmured, "Entrance F is over there." "All right," Arabella replied. She had been in touch with David's assistant, who had told them to use the side door, entrance F. Even though it was labeled a side entrance, it was still crowded with fans, and a few security guards were keeping watch. After struggling to reach the F entrance, the guards recognized them just by their eyes. They were the VIPs the assistant had just texted them about, instructing them to let through. Arabella showed the electronic tickets on her phone, but the guard barely glanced at it before waving them in quickly. With so many people around, opening the door could lead to a fan surge. Many fans, seeing Arabella's ticket and realizing she was also a fan, cast envious and curious looks their way. Some even followed up, asking if they knew the staff personally and if they could help deliver gifts to David. Finally, with Romeo's vigilant guidance, Arabella made it through entrance F, and the world around her fell into a serene hush. Before her lay a cozy, tranquil indoor corridor, its warmth a stark contrast to the wintry world outside. The hum of central heating whispered comfort against the cold. Jossie, the assistant, had been waiting eagerly. Her eyes lit up with a mixture of surprise and admiration upon seeing Arabella. "You're Arabella? David's sister." This was her inaugural meeting with Arabella, and though David had mentioned his sister's beauty, seeing her in person was another story entirely. Pulling down her mask, Jossie greeted her with a radiant and friendly smile. "Hi, I'm Jossie, David's assistant. It's so great to finally meet you." "Hello," Arabella responded, removing her own mask and shaking hands with her. Jossie was a bit on the round side, with porcelain skin and lovely features. Catching sight of Romeo, she offered a similarly warm smile. "Hey, Mr. Macmillan, long time no see." Romeo and David were close, which meant Jossie was no stranger to him either. Despite Jossie's being the opposite gender, Romeo, quite atypically, gave her a nod and a softened look. "Arabella, David's in the middle of a rehearsal. Let me take you there," Jossie said, her tone brimming with genuine kindness. "David mentioned you're a bit shy, so I hope I'm not too loud for you." He was quite adamant. "Don't scare her away," he kept saying. Arabella couldn't help but let out a chuckle. "I'm not scared of even the roughest guy's bark, let alone your gentle tone, Jossie." "Really?" Jossie beamed with delight. "I always worry I come across too brash, afraid I'd frighten you. You're a freshman, right? I'm a couple of years your senior." "Junior?" "Nope, I finished all my studies abroad and graduated early. I've been working with your brother for almost a year now." As she spoke, Jossie glanced at Romeo and then leaned in to confide in Arabella. "Before you came back, David was actually looking forward to Mr. Macmillan's visits. Their bromance had tongues wagging." She trailed off, giggling. "But now, it's all about his sister. He's even worried Mr. Macmillan might whisk you away or lead you astray." Arabella's smile blossomed, and Jossie found herself momentarily transfixed. What a stunning girl with such poise. "I heard you were reunited with the family just 6 months ago," Jossie continued. "All of you have such striking looks, especially you. The moment I laid eyes on you, I was dazzled. Ever thought about a career in showbiz? I'd be first in line to support you." Arabella smiled softly. "I haven't considered it for now." "Why not? With your looks, you'd be a sensation, maybe even bigger than David." "I'm studying medicine." "A doctor, huh? That's noble too. You might not get the adoration of the masses, but you'll touch many lives in need." Just then, Jossie's phone began to ring. She excused herself to Arabella and answered discreetly while leading the way. "Yeah, I see. Okay, got it. I'll speak to David in a bit." After hanging up, Jossie's expression deflated for a fleeting second before she regained her composure. "What's wrong?" Arabella asked softly. For listening. If you have enjoyed this story, please like and share so others can see it too. Also hit the subscription button and notification bell so you can be notified on our next release. Thank you for your support. God bless you.